Hi, my name is Enrique. I was one of the 21 privileged people of being able to go to the mission trip to Honduras, and first of all I have to say it was a life-changing experience. Our plans, they weren't good. God made new plans for us, and we just had to live and go by God's will. One thing that God did to me, He showed me a lot of things that I had to do, as in forgiveness. He showed me who to forgive, what to forgive, and how to do it. He just delivered me from a lot of unforgiveness, pain, anger, envy, and God just showed me how to be like Him, and it released me from a lot of depression and everything. There's a lot of deliverance on the trip. A lot of people were set free from things the devil has been holding against them. And just praying for everyone was a great experience. It just showed you how great God can be, and just the great things around us, and how nice it is to be in His presence and just follow His will, not ours.
For starters, Pastor Mark threw cow poop at me while we were working on a farm, but that's not important. And it wasn't his, so don't worry. But what God really did in my life was that we got our luggage, got lost, we had to stay a night in Atlanta, and we all went planning to do a lot of work for God, and to really go out and do the typical missions trip thing, go and really give the people of Honduras a word and really have God work through us. But what we didn't realize was that God made us lose our luggage, and God made us a day late to Honduras so that He could really have our schedule. And He ended up doing more work in my heart as a person and throughout the team, and really making us a better close-knit group than we would have having our schedule. And we were able to have more God-appointed meetings with people, like this guy in the plaza. He was just burning up for God, and at first we were like, nutbag, but when we actually got to talk to him, we prayed for him, and he just fell on his knees there, and he was just on fire for God. And after we had prayed for him and sang a song in Spanish for him, he was like, I've been asking God for a sign, and you guys are that sign. And it was just kind of like, if we wouldn't have torn up the schedule that we had planned, if we wouldn't have been able, if we wouldn't have gone to the plaza that day, and we wouldn't have gone out into the group, into Sigo Guadapeque and talked to that man, and we were able to, and that was totally God appointed. And so it was really more about me having faith in God, and me having patience with the team, and God working on me personally, than it was me reaching out to people.
Hi, I was in charge of the prayer walking group on the trip, and I love praising the Lord while I walk, and I especially enjoyed doing it in the mountains. And the scary thing was being with an interpreter and another young person, and I realized that I was praying with people that I couldn't understand their language, and I had to go through an interpreter. And I kind of looked around and looked for some strong prayer warriors, and I realized that was me. And God would speak the words into my mind, and when I prayed for somebody to be a strong community leader and to pray over the school, and I realized through the interpreter that that was what this person needed. He was already a community leader. He was asking God to give him encouragement, and that I was the encouragement that God had sent me on the mountains to encourage him. And another point, a lady up in the mountains was praying for her husband that was in Texas, and we always found that they invited us onto their porch for a short little visit. They were always open to knowing more about Jesus and to prayer, and they just opened their arms and would even give us hugs. And so that was real encouraging. They were a real special group of people.
All right, the biggest thing to me that when we were down in Honduras is that we had our meetings at night, and we went to bed late, and we got up early every day. And when we went to the children's home one of the days, we had to dig holes or plant rose bushes or do VBS, and we had so much energy. We were able to do all our tasks that day. And I just thought that was really cool how God provided energy for us. And I just think that all these children who are at the children's home loved us so much, even though we never knew them before. And I just thought that it was the coolest thing ever. Well, before we went on this trip, I didn't want to go. I really didn't. I thought it was going to be a waste of my time. But when we got back to America after the 10 days in Honduras and everything that went on, I thought it was the coolest trip of my life.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I went to Honduras. Something cool that happened when we were there on Tuesday, our first day that we went. We didn't have any of our luggage, so we didn't really have anything to give out to anybody because all of this mission stuff was in our luggage. So we decided to go to the plaza and hand out coffee to people and minister to people and just praying for them and stuff. And we were there and it started to rain, and we went under this thing that they had in the middle of Sigua de Peque, and it had a covering, and in the middle of that was a man who was preaching, and he was just preaching his heart out. Couldn't understand a word he was saying. It was all in Spanish. You could tell that the anointing of the Lord was on him, and he was breaking down strongholds and stuff, and we just prayed for him after he was finished, and the anointing just fell so strong on him. He fell to his knees and everything, and he, through interpretation, he said that something cool that he asked the Lord was to show him a sign, and he said that this group was a sign to him, showing him that he was doing what the Lord had asked him to do, and he was right. And I thought that was so cool, and it's like he gave up everything to preach, and he gave up any insecurities and any thoughts that he might have to stop him from doing something like that, and he did it anyways. And that would just really touched me, because get outside of your comfort zone and the Lord will meet you there, and I think that that's really cool.